The book of Numbers, chapter 10, verse 1, Numbers 10 and 1, Numbers the 10th chapter and the first verse, the silver trumpets. The Lord said to Moses, make two trumpets, use silver and hammer it to make the trumpets. These trumpets will be for calling the people together and for telling them when it's time to move the camp. If you blow long blasts on both trumpets, all the people must meet together at the entrance of the meeting tent. But if you blow long blasts only on one trumpet, only the leaders will come to meet with you. These are the leaders of the 12 tribes of Israel. Short blasts of the trumpets will be the way to tell the people to move the camp. The first time you blow a short blast on the trumpets, the tribes camping on the east side of the meeting tent must begin to move. The second time you blow a blast on the trumpets, the tribes camping on the south side of the meeting tent will begin to move. But if you want to gather the people together for a special meeting, blow the trumpets in a different way. Blow a long, steady blast on the trumpets. Only Aaron's sons, the priest, should blow the trumpets. This is a law for you that will continue forever, for generations to come. If you fight an enemy in your own land, blow loudly on the trumpets before you go to fight. The Lord your God will hear you, and he will save you from your enemies. So you blow those trumpets, God will hear the blow of the trumpet. All right, that's deep. Also blow these trumpets for your special meetings, new moon celebrations, and all your happy times together. Blow the trumpets when you give your burnt offerings and fellowship offerings. This will be a special way for your God to remember you. I command you to do this. I am the Lord your God. The Israelites moved their camp. On the 20th day of the second month of the second year after the Israelites left Egypt, the cloud rose from above the tent of the agreement. So the Israelites began their journey. They left the desert of Sinai and traveled until the cloud stopped in the desert of Paran. This was the first time the people moved their camp. They moved it the way the Lord commanded Moses. The three divisions from Judah's camp went first. They traveled under their flag. Here go the details. The first group was the tribe of Judah. Nahshon, son of Amminadab, was the commander of that group. Next came the tribe of Issachar. Nethiel, son of Zur, was the commander of that group. And then came the tribe of Zebulun. Eliab, son of Helon, was the commander of that group. Then the holy tent was taken down, and the men of Gershon and Merari families carried the tent, so the people from these families were next in line. Then came the three divisions from Reuben's camp. They traveled under their flag. The first group was the tribe of Reuben. Eleazar, son of Shedeur, was the commander of that group. Next came the tribe of Simeon. Shelumiel, son of Shaddai, was the commander of that group. Then came the tribe of Gad. Elisaph, son of Duel, was the commander of that group. Then came the Kohath family that carried the holy things from inside the holy tent. These people came at this time so that the other people could set up the holy tent and make it ready for the new camp before these people arrived. Next came the three groups from Ephraim's camp. They traveled under their flag. The first group was the tribe of Ephraim. Elishama, son of Lud, was the commander of that group. Next came the tribe of Manasseh. Gamaliel, son of Pedusar, was the commander of that group. Then came the tribe of Benjamin. Abidan, son of Gidai, was the commander of that group. The last three tribes in the line were the rear guard for all the other tribes. These were the groups from Dan's camp. They traveled under their flag. The first group was the tribe of Dan, as Yezer, son of Mishaddai, was their commander. Next came the tribe of Asher. Pagiel, son of Okran, was the commander of that group. Then came the tribe of Naphtali. Hira, son of Enan, was the commander of that group. That was the way the Israelites marched when they moved from place to place. Hobab was the son of Reuel the Midianite. Reuel was Moses' father. Let's start that over again. Reuel was Moses' father-in-law. Hobab was the son of Reuel. Okay, interesting. Moses said to Hobab, we are traveling to the land that the Lord promised to give us. Come with us and we will be good to you. The Lord has promised good things to the Israelites. So this was Moses' brother-in-law. Told his brother-in-law to come on with him. Well, here's what the brother-in-law said. Hobab answered, no, I will not go with you. I will go back to my homeland and to my people. Then Moses said, please don't leave us. You know more about the desert than we do. You can be our guide. If you come with us, we will share with you all the good things that the Lord gives us. So they began, wonder how that ended up. So they began traveling from the mountain of the Lord. The priests took the box of the Lord's agreement and walked in front of the people. They carried the holy box for 3 days, looking for a place to camp. The Lord's cloud was over them every day, and when they left their camp every morning, the cloud was there to lead them. When the people lifted the holy box to move the camp, Moses always said, get up, Lord. May your enemies be scattered. May your enemies run away from you. And when the holy box was put in place, Moses always said, come back, Lord, to the millions of Israelites. Interesting. Numbers 11, the people complain again. The people started complaining about their troubles. The Lord heard their complaints. He heard these things and became angry. Fire from the Lord burned among the people. The fire burned some of the areas at the edge of the camp. So the people cried to Moses for help. Lord, just fire coming out of any place. Wow. He prayed to the Lord, and the fire stopped burning. So that place was called Taberah. The people gave the place that name because the Lord caused a fire to burn in their camp. That's frightening. Jesus. The 70 older leaders. The foreigners who had joined the Israelites began wanting other things to eat. Uh-oh. Soon all the Israelites began complaining again. The people said, we want to eat meat. We want to eat meat. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt. That fish cost us nothing. We also had good vegetables like cucumbers, melons, chives, onions, and garlic. But now we've lost our strength. We never eat anything, only this manna. This manna was like small coriander seeds, and it looked like a sap from a tree. The people gathered the manna. Then they used rocks to crush it and cooked it in the pot, or they ground it into flour and made thin cakes with it. The cakes tasted like sweet cakes cooked with olive oil, just like cornbread. The manna fell on the ground each night when the ground became wet with dew. Moses heard the people complaining. People from every family were sitting by their tents and complaining. The Lord became very angry, and this made Moses very upset. He asked the Lord, why did you bring this trouble on me? I am your servant. What did I do wrong? What did I do to upset you? Why did you give me responsibility over all these people? You know that I'm not the father of all these people. You know that I did not give birth to them, but I must care for them like a nurse carrying a baby in her arms. Why do you force me to do this? Why do you force me to carry them to the land that you promised our fathers? I don't have enough meat for all these people, and they continue complaining to me. They say, give us meat to eat. I cannot take care of all these people alone. This burden is too heavy for me. If you plan to continue giving me their troubles, kill me now. Oh, Lord. If you accept me as your servant, let me die now. Then I will be finished with all my troubles. And Moses, you could have just walked away instead of talking silly like that. The Lord said to Moses, bring to me 70 of the elders of Israel. These men are leaders among the people. Bring them to the meeting tent. Let them stand there with you. Then I will come down and speak with you there. The Spirit is on you now, but I will also give some of that Spirit to them. Then they will help you to take care of the people. In this way, you will not have to be responsible for all these people alone. Tell the people this, make yourselves ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow you will eat meat. The Lord heard you when you cried out and said, we need meat to eat. It was better for us in Egypt. Oh, so now the Lord will give you meat and you will eat it. You will eat it for more than 1, 2, 5, or 10, or even 20 days. You will eat that meat for a whole month until you're sick of it. This will happen to you because you complained against the Lord. He lives among you and knows what you need. But you cried and complained to him. You said, why did we ever leave Egypt? Moses said, there are 600,000 soldiers here, and you say, I will give them enough meat for a whole month. If we call it not be enough for them. But the Lord said to Moses, don't limit my power. You will see that I can do what I say I can do. Well, that's a good verse right there. Let me read that again. That's good. Don't limit my power. You will see that I can do what I say I can do. So Moses went out to speak with the people. He told them what the Lord said. Then he gathered 70 of the elders together and told them to stand around the tent. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke to Moses. He put on the 70 elders some of the same spirit that was on Moses. After the spirit came down on them, they began to prophesy. But that was the only time that they ever did this. 2 of the elders, Eldad and Medad, did not go out to the tent. Their names were on the list of elders, but they stayed in the camp. But the spirit also came on them, and they began prophesying in the camp. A young man ran and told Moses. The man said, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. Joshua, son of Nun, said to Moses, Moses, sir, you must stop them. Joshua had been Moses' helper since Joshua was a boy. But Moses answered, are you afraid that people will think that I'm not the leader now? I wish that all the Lord's people were able to prophesy. I wish that the Lord would put his spirit on all of them. That's a prophecy right there. Then Moses and the leaders of Israel went back to the camp. The quail came. The quail come. The quail come. Shouldn't that say the quail came? All right. Then the Lord made a powerful wind to blow in from the sea, and it blew quail into the area all around the camp. There were so many birds that the ground was covered. They were about 3 feet deep on the ground. There were quail in every direction as far as a man can walk in one day. They went out and gathered quail all that day and all that night, and they gathered quail all the next day too. The smallest amount anyone gathered was 60 bushels. Then the people spread the quail meat all around the camp to dry in the sun. Interesting. People began to eat the meat, but the Lord became very angry while the meat was still in their mouths before the people could finish eating it. The Lord caused the people to become very sick and die. So the people named that place Kibroth Hattaavah, because there they buried those who had the strong desire for meat. From Kibroth Hattaavah, the people traveled to Hazeroth and stayed there. Numbers chapter 12. Miriam and Aaron criticized Moses. Miriam and Aaron began to talk against Moses. They criticized him because he married an Ethiopian woman. They said to themselves, Moses is not the only one that the Lord has used to speak to the people. He's spoken through us. He's also spoken through us. The Lord heard this. Moses was a very humble man. He was more humble than any other man on earth. And of course, Moses is the one writing this. Ain't that nothing? It's Moses talking about himself. So suddenly the Lord came and spoke to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. He said, you three, come to the meeting tent now. So Moses, Aaron, and Miriam went to the tent. The Lord came down in the tall cloud and stood at the entrance to the tent. He called out, Aaron, and Miriam. They went to him. God said, listen to me. You will have prophets. I, the Lord, will let them learn about me through visions. I will speak to them in dreams. But Moses is not like that. He is my faithful servant. I trust him with everyone in my house. When I speak to him, I talk face to face with him. I don't use stories with hidden meanings. I show him clearly what I want him to know. And Moses can look at the very image of the Lord. So why were you brave enough to speak against my servant Moses? The Lord was very angry with them, and he left them. The cloud rose from the tent. Aaron turned and looked at Miriam. Her skin was white like snow. She had a terrible skin disease. Then Aaron said to Moses, please, sir, forgive us for the foolish sin that we did. Don't let her lose her skin like a baby who is born dead. Sometimes a baby will be born like that with half of its skin eaten away. So Moses prayed to the Lord, God, please heal her from the sickness. The Lord answered Moses, if her father spit in her face, she would be shamed for 7 days. So put her outside the camp for 7 days. After that, she can come back into the camp. Lord, stand outside of the camp in the dark, cold wilderness. So they took Miriam outside the camp for 7 days. Out there in the wild, I bet that taught her a lesson. I bet she said, I'll never do it again, Jesus. And the people did not move from that place until she was brought in again. After that, the people left Hazeroth and traveled to the desert of Paran, where they set up camp. Now, that doesn't make sense because Aaron was criticizing too. Now, how come he didn't get? Now, how come he didn't get judged? Okay, you learn something new every day. This is the word of the Lord. Place that in the comment section. This is the word of the Lord. Make sure you follow, like, share, and subscribe, and share with everyone to join in with us as we read through the Bible every day, 6 a.m. Central Standard.